Hi everyone, my name is Rivka Rosenberg. People call me Rivki. That's my nickname. Today I will teach you 8th graders a very special lesson. The lesson is storytelling, and the book is called The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Lesmore. Let's begin. Let's watch a few minutes of this video. What happened to the man in the video? What happened to his house? What happened to his book? Let's see. Today, we will read a story called The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Lesmore. This book was written by William Joyce. He is the author of the book. And here is the picture of William Joyce. A few important vocabulary words before we begin reading. Sorry. The first word is joy. Joy is happiness. And the opposite is sorrow. Sorrow is sadness. I am sad. Wonder. This person in the picture, he's wandering. He's walking with no reason, just walking. Sometimes I wander in the park. Scattered. You see these letters here? They're all scattered all over the place. My books here are all scattered. Find satisfaction. Find satisfaction is enjoying doing something. For example, I find satisfaction in reading my book. During the reading, please think of the following questions here. You can even write them down very quickly. Notice the colors in the story. What do you think the colors mean? What do the brown images or pictures indicate? What does it teach you, the brown? What about the other colored images? Why do you think they are colored like they are? Why are some people in the pictures gray? Why is the girl in the picture gray? Let's find out. The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Lesmore by William Joyce. Morris Lesmore loved words. He loved words. He loved stories. He loved books. I love books too. Mr. Lesmore loved books. His life was a book of his own writing, one orderly page after another. He would open it every morning. He would open it and write of his joys and sorrows, of his happiness and sadness. He would write in his book of all that he knew and everything that he hoped for. This is what he wrote in his book. But every story has its upsets. Sometimes the book was a little upsetting, sad. But one day, the sky darkened. You see the dark sky in gray? The winds, ooh, blew and blew, till everything Morris knew scattered. You see everything scattered here? The letters, the houses, everything, my books here, all over the place. Even the words of his book. He didn't know what to do or which way to go. Where shall I go? So he began to wander, to walk with no reason, nowhere to go. He just wandered and wandered. You see his picture here? He wandered and wandered. A few more vocabulary words before we continue. The first word is habit. Habit is something you do over and over again. For example, I have a habit of reading my book every night before I go to sleep. It's my habit. The next two words are amiable fellow. The fellow here is Humpty Dumpty. He's amiable. He's lovable. You love him right when you see him. And the word here is extraordinary. Notice how I pronounce the word. Extraordinary is very special. It's an extraordinary phenomenon when this person who is in a wheelchair suddenly gets up. It's extraordinary. Let's continue. Then a happy bit of happiness came his way. Rather than looking down, Morris Lesmore always looked down, very sad, as had become his habit. He had this habit of looking down all the time, being sad. Morris Lesmore looked up. Drifting through the sky above him, Morris saw a lovely lady. Here is the lady in the picture. She was being pulled along by a festive squadron of flying books. It's like a kite, but the books were pulling her. You see all the books in the picture? Morris wondered, he thought, if his book could fly, but it couldn't. It would only, the book can't fly, it will only fall, boom, fall to the ground with a depressing thud. It's very sad when the book falls. The flying lady knew Morris simply needed a good story. So she sent him her favorite story. The book was An Amiable Fellow. You see him here? Humpty Dumpty? That was the girl's favorite book. she sent it to Mr. Morris Blessmore and urged Morris to follow him. Morris, follow the book, follow the book. The book led him to an extraordinary building. You see the building in the picture? Extraordinary building where many books apparently nested. Many books were nested there. Nested means lying there or being there. It's like a nest, a bird's nest. The word nested. Many books apparently nested in that extraordinary building. Morris slowly walked inside and discovered the most mysterious and inviting room he had ever seen. Wow, this room is beautiful. It was filled with fluttering of countless pages. Ooh, so many pages everywhere. So many pages. And Morris could hear the faint chatter of 1,000 different stories. So many stories in this room. As if each book was whispering an invitation to adventure. Every book was whispering an invitation to adventure. Then his new friend flew up to him and landed on his arm. It held itself open. It held itself open, as if hoping to be read. The room rustled to life. It became alive, the room. And so Morris's life among the books began. His life began among the books. Sometimes Morris would become lost in a book. He was totally absorbed by the book. He got lost in the book and scarcely emerged for days. He was lost in what he was reading, so excited about reading. Morris liked to share the books with others. Sometimes it was a favorite that everyone loved. Sometimes it was his favorite book that everyone loved. And other times he found a lonely little volume, a small book whose tale was seldom told. Everyone's story matters. All the books are important, said Morris. And all the books agreed. You're right, Morris, you're right. All the books agreed with him. At night, after all the stories that needed telling had been told, and everyone had settled down to their proper place on the shelves, on the madaf, the great big dictionary. I'll show you my dictionary. The great big dictionary, this is my dictionary, would get in the last word. It was then that Morris Blessmore would once again write in his own book. He wrote of his joys, his happiness, and sorrows, and times that he was sad. Of all that he knew, he wrote all that he knew, and everything that he hoped for, his hopes, his tikvot. The days passed, so did the months, and then years and years. Now we will take a short break, and after that, we will find out what happens to Mr. Morris Blessmore. Don't forget to come back. Hi again. Let's continue our story about Maurice Lesmore. A few more important words before we continue. Crinkly. Do you see this dog? He's crinkly. He has wrinkles everywhere. He's crinkly. Take care of. I hope you take care of your grandparents like this person in the picture. Take care of is lidog, I think, in Hebrew. Bittersweet sigh. Bittersweet, as you see in the picture, it's bitter and it's sweet. Oh, bittersweet sigh is that you're not happy nor sad. There is a bittersweet sigh. Time to move on. Sometimes when things are difficult, you can say, it's time to move on, to change things, to move to a new place, start a new school, time to move on. Just like these birds in the picture. Let's continue. And Maurice Lesmore became stooped and crinkly. You see him now in the picture? He's older, he's crinkly, he has wrinkles. But the books never changed. The books stayed as they were. Their stories stayed the same. Now, his old friends took care of him. Instead of him taking care of the books, now his books took care of him. The way he had once cared for them. Once upon a time, he used to care for his books. Now his books took care of him. They shamru alav. And they read themselves to him each night. Each night, the books read themselves to him, to Maurice Lesmore. Then, one day, he filled the last page in his book. The last page, he opened. This is my last page. He filled it. He wrote things in it. He looked up and said, with a bittersweet sigh, with a little happiness and a little sadness, with a little sigh, he said, I guess it's time for me to move on. The books were sorry, they were sad, but they understood. That's life. Maurice put on his hat and took his cane. This is my cane. He took his cane like an old person. As he went to the door, he turned and smiled, then waved goodbye. I'll carry you all I'll carry you all the books in here, he said, and pointed to his heart. I will carry you here. The books waved their pages, and Maurice Lesmore flew away. And as he flew, he changed back to the way he'd been that long ago day when they'd all first met. The books were quiet for a while. Shh. Then they noticed that Maurice Lesmore had left something behind. When he left something behind him. It's his book. It's his book, said his oldest friend. Inside the book, this is my book, inside the book was Maurice's story. All of his joys, all his happiness, and sorrows and sadness, all that he knew, all that Maurice knew, and everything that he hoped for. Kol hatikvot shelo, all that he hoped for. Then the books heard a small, expectant sound. There in the doorway was a little girl. She looked around with wonder. She looked around, the little girl. Then something fantastic happened. Maurice Lesmore's book, his book flew up to her and opened its pages. Opened its pages. The girl began to read. Girl began, and so our story ends as it began, with the opening of a book. On the cover of the book, The Fantastic Books of Mr. Lessmore, this is what it says. This is a little small, so I will read it to you. This is what it says. It's very interesting. It's a review, a short comment on what the newspapers think of this book that we just read. The first one is from the New York Times. It's a newspaper in the United States. It says, a visually stunning bit of work. Means that the pictures here are unbelievable in this book. What does it say in the London Times? Notice that this book is very famous. It's also in London. In the London Times, in the newspaper, it says, it is not inconceivable that a short children's story called The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Lessmore will be regarded, people think of it, as one of the most influential titles. Influential means it has a lot of influence. It teaches many, many people. It's one of the most influential titles of the early 21st century. Means that this book is very, very, very influential. It has impact. It teaches many, many people, all ages actually. Here is a written assignment for you to do after the lesson is over. Take a picture of the slide or write these questions down. I would like to know, how do you feel after reading this book? How do you feel after reading this story? Why do you think the author chose the name Mr. Lessmore? What do you see hiding in his name? Two words, right? Less and more. Why do you think the author chose this name, Mr. Lessmore? Less is pachot, more is yoter. Has anyone helped you find a love in reading? Who impacted you? Who told you that it's good to read many books? Your parents? Your grandparents? Your friends? What can books teach us? I love reading books. Books teach me many things. They teach me about different countries. They teach me about different people, about different cultures. What do books teach you? I find it very difficult, very hard to decide which book is my favorite. I love so many books. Do you have a favorite book? Answer these questions after the lesson is over and when you have time at home. Let's continue for a few more minutes watching this video. Let's continue watching. You just saw Mr. Lesmore flying away. But did you see that he left behind him his book? Let's continue watching. Notice the girl in the video. Do you remember my question at the beginning of the lesson? Why is the girl in gray? What do you think? Let's continue watching. Today's lesson was about the book, The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Lesmore. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.